8 o'clock your time, Tyler. So 3 hours from now.
Oh, okay. We can try that.
We can do it.
God fucking damn it, dude.
We're like
Why?
2 hours and 3 minutes in, and I just pull out Sonic fan fiction.
Fucking found some cheese sticks, but they're moldy.
Oh no!
Oh shit.
Moldy
fucking-
cheese sticks.
That's
That sucks.
disheartening as shit.
You just wanted a little bit of pull and peel, man. Remember Twizzlers pull and peels? Oh,
Yes.
Good.
Wait, are they the
I'm a
kind
Red
where it's
Vines
like
man
8
now.
tiny strings like braided up?
yeah.
God, I hated
Never had a
those things.
Twizzler.
You hated those?
Yeah. It's like
Why?
I just want to bite it like string cheese. I don't peel it off anymore. I just bite into the string cheese.
Then why not just buy cheese? It's cheaper.
Big brain, guess what I do?
Buy cheese.
It's just
Okay.
going to the effort of having to peel off this little spaghetti noodle of a Twizzler and then go no 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 like a little mouse and then do that 8 more times for a single piece.
It slowed me down when I was a kid.
It
I think
slowed
that's
you
why my
down.
parents liked it. Yeah.
Need to control your sugar. Here, do effort. No 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 no.
You have to eat them little string by little string. Okay. That was me as a kid.
Fair. Oh, that's fair.
Crazy metabolism, crazy active all the time, but like I liked crap food too much, so they were just like, I think that was actually a way that my parents like got me to slow down a little bit.
Mmm.
Big brain parents.
God, I love this new coil. Sorry, I've had the same coil for almost 3-4 weeks, and it burnt out like 2 weeks ago, but I've been pushing that fucking horse, and it's nice going to something where I can taste the flavor again.
I tell you what.
Tyler,
Yes.
Yeah.
you should be receiving like a package in the mail from me in the next few.
Okay. I'm still trying
Yeah.
to figure out who the fuck sent me this. It's
Is it
in
a
reverse.
Detective Pikachu something?
Yes, it says, "This Valentine's Day, I choose you."
I didn't
And-
do that. I can did
Okay.
that openly.
Feels like a
I'm-
Brandon thing.
I'm not going to turn it. You got the first Blue's Clue. It has my address in the back, so I'm not going to flip it over, but it's actually an advertisement for Vudu. Vudu movie rental service over in Sunnyvale,
it's like-
California.
Voodoo, like they want to send you down to Louisiana to the backwaters where there's gonna be a voodoo mama juju and she's gonna teach you how to use a
Voodoo Mama
a
Juju.
So-
voodoo mama juju.
It immediately turned into the mindset. What the fuck? Okay, this is just an advertisement. It's being personally targeted, but there's a custom message on the back. And that's why I'm starting to nod towards Glenn, because there's only 2 people I've ever heard use this phrase. Hey, BB. Hey, BB. So there's the only 2 people I know is me and Brandon. And so it's like, did I send this to myself? Like, was I smart? Like,
While you were drunk or something.
yeah, I'm gonna sign up for Valentine's Day. Yeah, remind me on Valentine's Day that I want Voodoo rental. Or maybe that's something that's commonly said in California. That's also possible. Or
Oh, I
it's
don't
fucking
know.
Brandon.
I think it's just Brandon because I've never said BB before in my life unless I was talking about the robot from Star Wars.
Well, if you have my address, I actually have a couple of questions. A lot,
Oh,
actually.
I should have had your address a long time ago, but there have been some roadblocks.
Sorry, do
I
I need
still
to
have
start?
your address.
Do I start, or do I need to start using VPNs or something?
No. I was trying to get your address so I could send both you and Nick. I haven't asked you, Nick, yet because I never got Tyler's, but I wanted to send you guys a set of my 3D printed D&D coins. So you have a copper, silver, electrum,
Silver
gold, and
piece, gold
platinum.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd have
Oh,
one
yeah.
of each because I also part of the reason why I haven't messaged anybody about it. I was gonna try and do it in secret asking your wife, and she said she would get it for me, and she never has. But that's okay because I
What?
needed to wait on
Let
getting
me
spray
shave
paint.
her live right here and right now.
No, I needed to get spray paint for them because painting them by hand was a pain in the butt. So I finally got all of them in, I think. So just got to get it done, and then I'll get everybody's addresses so I can send my friends a set of Dungeons and Dragons coins.
So you don't want me to shout and shame her live on stream?
Oh no, it's totally. I haven't asked again. It's my fault.
It's your fault because you didn't ask a second time. That actually explains a lot with my trying to communicate with you at back in the day. I forgot to ask him twice, you know?
Well, I tend to be bad at communicating unless it's about Dungeons and Dragons. So
If it makes you feel better, so do I, but on a different front. So
we all have our own demons. I feel you.
mine are devils, they're lawful. Well, I thought it was funny. No, you don't have to laugh. It's okay. Demons are chaotic. Devils are lawful evil.
No, I got you. I'm here. Also, I'm just kind of like looking over these, going back and forth about the show notes and making sure that I'm like, I wanted to make sure I gave the Sonic section a really good read. So,
The what? Nick,
like all of the facts and tidbits and stuff that are listed there that we're going to talk about. So, I wanted to make sure I was up on the news, even if I wasn't doing that section, you know?
Okay. Nick, are you good to go, or
Yes, sir.
if you need to take a break like halfway through, that's totally fine. I respect that.
Oh, I'm good.
Oh
And
man.
save your voice for your players too.
All right, so this is gonna be the hardcore quest, right? Where we just start shouting.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah!
All right, Glenn, you're the host.
Welcome back to Casual Master Quest, everybody. My name is Glenn. This is Casual Master Quest episode number 86, which will be
Seven.
airing on February 18th, right?
It's
87. It's 87 airing on February something ish.
17th.
But if you're 17th, there it is. If you're listening now, it's the 15th. Welcome. I am Glenn Houston. I'll be hosting today, and as always, I have my lovely other hosts because I don't call. We're all co-hosts, I guess, right? Tyler, how you doing?
Yeah, eat shit, Nick. You picked me. Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
You doing good? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm a little
Yeah,
spicy
yeah.
today. A little spicy for the pickle.
You seem it.
Pepper.
You seem it. A little snippy.
Spicy. Yeah, I'm a spicy pickle. I'm gonna own up to that. Yeah.
Ooh.
Tyler's
Ain't no
spicy
kosher
pickle
dill.
Vito. Yeah. I'm gonna kosher the hell out of your butt cheeks when I come out. Jeez.
God, that
I'm a-
slaps.
I'm gonna say I'm a spicy pickle.
Spicy pickle. And Nick,
Fuck
how
you,
are you
spicy.
doing today? You look lovely with that button up.
Thank you. I'm doing all right. You know they used to call me Nickel the Pickle in high school.
Oh
Really?
man, a rival pickle.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, they
Um,
did not. That was how kids
Nickel Pickle,
cleverly made fun of you.
Pickle, Sickle. I've heard it all.
Sickle's a dope, cool. I like instrument
sickle
of death. I
pickle.
don't know how that's an
Yeah.
insult.
And then with my last name, Chodimela, you take the first part of it, Chode. I believe that Americans in
that.
general understand that as a
Mhm.
slang word for penis.
Yeah.
In Hindi, it means fucker. So you'll say
Jesus
Banchode,
Christ. I'm
which
sorry
means
for getting
sister fucker.
I mean, if we're gonna do this,
And then there's the word chaddi, which means underwear. Chodi was my nickname in high school for the most part.
Oh my
But
god.
sometimes people just called me underwear, or the Hindi equivalent, or yeah.
We're
I don't
just
know.
fucking.
That just came. Yeah, or just Chodmela.
God, man.
Yeah.
I
Tyler
thought
bit
for
his
sure
toe.
there was no way to make fun of your name because it's so unique and specific. It's like,
Well, not
make-
in English.
you know, make fun of somebody named Reginald Gertfollow. You know, like it's so weird that like, yeah, they know their name's weird. It's like my name. You can't make that's why they chose my name is Glenn.
Sounds like two
They,
Pokemon.
they're like, how do you make fun of Glenn? Oh, you must be having a bad time because your name is a valley.
You're on the moon?
Wow. But yeah, that was the other. Yeah, I got a few like John Glenn jokes. Or Glenn Davis was a running back in 1942 who won the Heisman, played for Army. So there was other, like random crap. But man, I'm
trying
sorry.
to think
Nick,
of a
that
mean
sucks.
word to say, but I got nothing. You're right.
No, it's fine. It is what it is. Kids will be kids to some extent. It never
Yeah,
bothered
no,
me.
but then I had a bowl cut, so they called me Mushroom Man from Mars.
I'm sorry.
Pixar didn't happen. I gotta say.
Oh, bro. It didn't take my name. I was like I was the antithesis of myself now until about 7th grade. And at the end of 7th grade, I realized that you didn't get beat up if people thought you were funny. You didn't get beat up if you played sports. So I took it upon
You
myself
don't get
to
beat
like
up if you're
become
fucking Rock Lee.
debatable. At very least made fun of, but I got beat up a lot and I decided I'm gonna play football and I'm gonna
True, he
be the
challenged
guy that makes
Neji a
funny
lot.
jokes. What's that?
I realized that Neji beat the shit out of Rock Lee a lot,
Oh.
actually.
Oh yeah.
And
If
Nick
you
in the
remember
chat
his training
is-
process, like most of the time he went up against anybody. He gave a decent fight, but he got his shit kicked in the end, usually.
right.
Just didn't know how to use ninjutsu, so
Nick in
Or
the chat
Genjutsu.
is coming to correct us as per the Nick in the chat fashion. Glenn did not go to the moon. He just orbited the planet.
there we go. Just first man to orbit the moon. There we go. Or orbit the planet. Did he orbit the moon or did he orbit the planet?
Orbit.
Maybe
Either
both.
or, they're planetary objects. It's still a pretty.
He was an
impressive-
astronaut.
Yeah.
Either way, being a kid was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of
God.
being a kid, how is everyone's real life? Because obviously we're all kids at heart. So how are you guys doing? Like, what's been going on? Give everyone a little life update,
Oh,
as we
man.
do.
I love being a man child. Thank you.
Me too.
Interesting week for me. It seems
Mhm.
like a lot of things haven't been going my way this week, and kind of led to a down week. But I'm doing okay. The car broke down on me. It
Oh
was
crap!
it was weird because last week before our last session on Friday, I was driving home and all of a sudden I hardly had brakes, and that scared the shit out of me. I'm like, one day the car's fine, second day the car doesn't have fucking brakes, and
Did the rotors just go out or something on it?
I was like, man, is it like? I was listening whenever I slowed down, trying to hear the grinding noise and all that stuff. I was like, do I need to put fucking brake pads? That's weird because I just
Yeah.
But then the brake fluid low light came on,
Ow.
and
Yeah,
so I'm like,
that'll do
oh,
it.
okay, I just got to top it off. And so Monday I come around, that light comes back on again. It went from full to empty. My brake lines were leaking, and I was running out of brake fluid. Was what was happening. And on top of that, I was sitting in my car not vaping for once. There was like a 5-second window where I wasn't vaping. And I thought I saw vaping coming out of my engine, but then I had to put 2 and 2 together saying, that's probably not my car vaping. And so I, popped the hood, and all of a sudden, I know, right? That's how fucking it's if your car is vaping, there might be a problem. No, it
That's
was
called smoke.
it was in fact the coolant pipe leaking on top the exhaust manifold and evaporating.
Oh shit!
So my car was
Oh,
in fact
shit.
vaping. So they have my car
Turns out
still.
that it isn't healthy
Look, they
for cars.
like I said, the cars haven't, it hasn't been long enough for the cars to discover that or not. It's been
Michigan
Actually-
vape ban reinstated.
we can't let our cars vape in this day and age. It's unhealthy. It's going to lead to an epidemic. So yeah, my car done stopped vaping. Hopefully. Plus, I'm getting excited for Valentine's Day. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day, guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Retroactive, but still.
Valentine's Day month. Valentine's month, right? Yes, yes. I'm
Sure.
committing to that.
I don't know if it merits as much of, celebration as like Black History Month or something, but like, sure, we'll give Valentine's Day a whole month.
Just give me a small shout out. Jeez, I don't need the. Okay, I don't need the whole month. Just give me a work.
Well, you
week.
have a whole day to yourself.
Yeah, if you're single. Sorry, Nick. Happy Valentine's Day to my
Yeah,
wife.
sorry, Nick and Chad.
Whew. That was like hot potato of shade. Hot potato to you, and you just threw it right into the fucking chat. Like third level fireball right there. That was beautiful. Thank you.
The
Yeah.
random townsfolk who's just there to watch.
So I'm excited because I'm gonna see the Sonic movie with my wife tomorrow, I believe Sunday for those listening to the podcast, and then tonight, aka Saturday, I'm gonna drink for the first time in a while. I've been holding off on drinking just because I realize I'm not a big fan of it as much as I used to, and I don't want to be a sober guy. I don't. It's just not my thing. So, but gonna hopefully drink a little bit, and the only game I can think of that I want to play more than League of Legends drunk is Dead Space. So I'm gonna play Dead Space 3 with the wife, drink it tonight, hopefully. So
Nice.
I'm a little excited to see what happens here. Well, what about you, Nick? My shade master.
I've had a busy week. There's a course that I'm taking, and I've been talking about this over the last few months. That's related to sustainability in textiles, and it's like a year-long thing. But I'm only gonna do like 2/3 of it because it goes across 3 semesters. But I'm graduating this semester, so I want to be there for the third. So we talked about the possibility of me playing a little bit more of a active role, not as a student next semester, possibly. And so my instructors
Yeah.
gave me kind of like a TA because there's not enough students in the class to give us funding for a TA. But regardless of that, I'd still like to be involved. So they gave me the responsibility of organizing a panel for the class because this semester is focused more on business and building a business and building a product and prototyping and the documents that go behind it, and understanding how businesses work just in general.
Yep.
So we had people who've consulted for businesses strategically when it comes to sustainability. There was a dude who fucking worked for Converse and Nike, and he's done fantastic work. And there's a guy who works with the local community. He's been doing that for 25 years, making his own like active and sportwear and snowboards and shit. So they bought me the panelist. They're like, all right, these are the people, because they have the connections. I'm fucking nobody, right? Just objectively speaking, I'm just a student. I wouldn't know these people. They're like, okay, these are the people who are coming. Organize the questions, organize the format. You have 2 hours, figure out a way to get the students engaged. So over the past week and a half or so, I've been organizing that. And it was tough because I'd only been communicating with the panelists via email. So I wasn't sure. Like I get along with most people. You right off the bat, I'm good at communicating, but it's just like I never met them face to face. So I was nervous all the way until like it happened on Friday. But the moment I met them, it was like fucking bada boom, bada bing. It was pretty good, actually. So what I did was, and I think you guys would enjoy this, we had the students submit like a bunch of questions. And so first hour was their introductions and me like asking my questions that I'd come up with. And then the second hour was questions from the student, a little bit more room for open discussion. And so there are 3 panelists. A lot of the students, without asking or telling them or prompting them to, wrote up questions for each of the panelists.
Wow.
So when they did that, I'm like, all right, how crazy would it be if we put all of these questions into tables, eliminate the ones that are not super great, come up with a fixed number across, and then make the students roll a die for so that we go across. So we go one panelist at a time, and then we'll just make the students roll a die to pick a question from the table. So they had 8 questions each about. So like I bought my D8 with me to school, and I'm like, all right, somebody fucking roll for who wants to roll for a question.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Learn
that's what I
some
did.
Random
thought-
probability, and that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that'd be like just a little fun little way. The panelists loved it. Students not so engaging until after the first roll because they're like, I don't know what's going on. I've never seen this die before. I'm like, well, fuck, just roll it.
You're recruiting people.
Let's go see
I
what
like
happens.
it. I like
Bring him
it,
into the
Nick.
fold. Yes, yes, come into the fold.
So immediately after that, I went to a speed dating event because this was on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did
It
that
was
go?
it I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been to one. And if like watching movies or like whatever TV shows or reality TV, like speed dating like is very like they're like fucking the men and the women are there and the women are sitting at tables and the men are just going in circles talking to each of them like for a couple of minutes. Um
Mhm.
but the company that I did this with it wasn't very organized, and it was in the middle of like a restaurant, and there was like it was very tight and it was very cramped. But we made it work.
Ooh, personal.
Yeah, it was fun that way. It was a little more personal. We had about 5 or 7 minutes with each person. And I think there was 20
Nice.
guys, 20 girls, or like 20 girls and 18 guys or something. Uh,
Okay.
Wow, impressive actually.
Yeah.
But the issue is not an issue so much. I just thought it was interesting. The age range for the event was a little wide.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was 24 to 38. And so
Oh.
I snuck right in there, like just right above the cutoff, just 24. And so I just prefaced everything with, yeah,
I'm
I'm the
24.
youngest one. Yeah, I'm the youngest one here. Just so you know, because what could be better than just finding a sugar mama? Just like just putting myself out there. But
Is
no,
that
it
what
was
happened?
no, it was good.
Wow.
I talked to a bunch of people, and so you do like you get a list, like a little card, and then you put down their name, and then there's like a 1 to 5 kind of thing, like how likely or like do you want to see them again or not, right?
Yeah.
And so you do that and you check it off, and then you turn that card in, and then they'll take all the other cards, and then if there are any matches with like yes, I want to see this person again, they'll like give you their contact information. So I got to meet some people, and then like a bunch of us from the event were like, "Hey, listen, we're downtown. Might as well just go hang out for a bit after." So we went to a bar. I did not drink because I drove straight from class. So it was very interesting on a Friday night on Valentine's Day, sitting in a loud bar surrounded by drunk people. Not necessarily the people that we went with, but like
Right.
just other people around me, just dancing. One woman threw her coat at me because she didn't see that there was somebody sitting at a table there and she was dancing and she wanted to take her coat off. And I'm like, all right, this is where I leave. It was nice
I'm a
meeting
coat
you all.
hanger.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't think I've ever been in that position before where I was completely sober in like a really busy bar on a weekend night because I just don't go out that often anyways. So,
Right. Especially on
um,
Valentine, like that's a scary territory that night. That's like a full moon.
yeah, it was good overall. I had a good time. Like I wanted to do something different, force myself to go out because at the end event ended at like 10 p.m. and I was like, I'm just gonna go home and sleep. Otherwise, no, not sleep. Fucking, what am I gonna do sleeping at 10 p.m. on a Friday night? I'm gonna game. Let's be honest. So I'm like, rather than do that, like let's just hang out here for a bit. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. And ironically enough, like hearing what that is, it just sounds like a more involved Tinder. Like
Well,
Tinder is effectively that, but in this way you get to talk to them more and have a better understanding if you really like them or not. But
They
like
feel
it's
legally
like fill these
obligated
things
to talk
in,
to you for 5 minutes.
check these things off.
right.
Yeah.
Well, beyond
And
that,
then
also, it's a part of it is with online dating. I had this conversation with multiple people actually. With online dating, there's no like judgment or like shaming. It's just very superficial, right?
Mhm.
And maybe you'd click over text. Maybe you'd click, just whatever, like oh, social profiles, like these things match up. But then more often than not, how you see other people, like what people present themselves as online, is very curated,
Mhm.
and you don't get a sense for the person. So when you do something like this, because the focus on this is like, yes, we're all kind of looking for somebody, but we're like right now, this specific event, we're just here to have conversations to see if there's anything, if there's like any kind of like anything that could happen organically, right?
Yeah.
So you get a sense for the person, what you see is kind of like, even if they're still curating themselves for that night, you still get a sense of the person to some extent.
Right. There's no top-down selfies. You see
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, and
Hmm.
by curating themselves for that night, I mean like I got, a trim, I got a haircut. I actually
Yeah, you
put an
did.
effort into how I look that day. But beyond that, like there's only so much I can do except be myself. I heard some of the girls talking when we were sitting at the table at the bar. They're like, there's this one guy they were talking about that was giving um a different story about what he does depending on who he talked to, because he'd ask the women what they did first.
Oh no.
Interesting.
That's the kind of
Yeah.
person you don't want to be.
That's a red flag. That's a I need
Yeah.
to. I'm not looking for a relationship. I mean, if
Yeah,
they
because
are,
what was
it's-
even more interesting was that a lot of the girls came together like with friends, but a lot of the guys were just there, kind of like, because I think this is one of those things where it's like guys don't really want to, like, no, I don't, yeah, it's like I have pull, I have game, I don't need to go to a speed dating event kind of like mentality. So like a lot of the guys were there single, and yeah, it was just interesting. There was just a lot of interesting like social dynamics at play, just being in that event. Yeah,
oh,
Huh.
that's fair.
Would you go to another one?
I would, but not by this company. But again,
Okay.
like that's a fucking problem with me being so understanding. I'm like, the lady, there was only one person there organizing it. Maybe she had no play in like deciding where it was going to be. Maybe the company just told her it had to be in that specific place, because it was overbooked, or like people were just not even overbooked. People were showing up even though they didn't buy a ticket, because it was like $40 to buy it to like for the event, right? So people were
yeah.
showing up, and they were kind of like pressuring her into like, yeah, just let me sit here or whatever the fuck, right? Like
Yeah.
there's so many things that went into it. I'm like, I don't know if it was necessarily the company or it was just this lady who was handling it that day and she did everything. So maybe I'd go to one more, but maybe not on Valentine's Day, because she did say Valentine's Day is the busiest, and they had like the company does events across 65 different cities.
Holy
So
crap.
Holy shit.
I'm like, maybe I'll give this company another shot, not on Valentine's Day. But if it's still just as disorganized, then if I wanted to do this again ever, then I'd find some other company that does this.
Mhm. Checks out.
Yeah, that was my week. And then I'm
Nice.
DMing my second session tonight. So
Hell
That's
yeah!
why you look so fancy.
Everybody
Well, I
came
mean,
back.
I was telling you guys, this is the only
I know.
shirt I had left.
I just gotta give you a hard time, man.
You still look like tall, dark, and handsome with that shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly
Thank you.
reason.
Huh.
Lovely.
I'm married. Sorry.
On my side, I have done nothing new or noteworthy this week. So, congrats to you guys for having actual things happen to you in life. Aside
Yeah, I
from
taught
that,
my
I
car
did,
the vape. So exciting.
the wife and I did like an evening in for Valentine's Day. We decided to just order in some Italian food and just relax. It was great. Um, that was really nice, actually. Um, and other than that, yeah, no, I'm just I did find out recently that my mother is going to be coming to California for the second time since I've lived here in 6 years.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
So
in
exciting.
May. She's gonna be here for 8 days, sleeping on my couch. So yes and no.
Okay.
Love the woman to death. A little terrified because we're so similar in personality. We tend to, when we spend too much time
Bump
around each
heads.
other, we bump heads. That is a very nice way of saying it. Um,
No, I totally understand
so,
that. Like,
oh man, I'm
especially with how close you
Weird.
guys are with each other. Like, if you get annoyed with somebody, like a stranger, they have a similar personality, but you guys simply clash. It's like, all right, I can tolerate this, but this
Yeah.
person is your mom, so it's like, for me, that's like my sister. That's like my grandma. It's like, if we go down, I'll let somebody just has to throw a handkerchief on the floor, and it's like, all right, get the guns out. We're gonna duel. Let's fucking
let's
go
do
at it.
You understand.
So,
No, but I am
plus-
excited for the fact that she's gonna get the chance to come out here. She hasn't been here since I think 2016, so it's been a few years.
Right.
So she'll get a chance to kind of like see LA
Why does
again.
it smell like pot everywhere?
They know I smoke. It's
Oh no, not you specifically. Just I think over that
just
time is
outside.
when California like legalized it. So
Oh yeah, that would have been around that time. It is sometimes quite overwhelming outside. Sometimes you get out there and it's just like, wow, okay.
Vancouver can be that way too.
Yeah. But it's not a bad. I like it personally. Surprise! But yeah, no, that's
Surprise, motherfucker.
the biggest thing. Yeah.
All right, every time somebody says I have to.
Surprise, motherfucker. Yeah, no, I feel you. But this is a video game podcast, so we should talk about the games we've been playing this week.
Video game
Um,
podcast?
Video game.
Ooh, Jesse.
And I'm James.
Meow's the name.
And we're Captain Planet. Just kidding.
What?
Wrong anime.
Like, everybody keeps introducing themselves, and it's just more and more anime.
But anyway, what games have you all been up to this last week? Tyler, you can start since it seems like we've been starting with you in each one of these little segments.
Wow,
so.
you're putting me first everywhere? It's getting hot in here. Man, I better put the ring
Ayo.
back on. I feel threatened. I tried something new this week in terms of the video. Oh, I tried a couple of things that are new this week. But this one is a shout out to you, Glenn. I finally gave Teamfight Tactics a shot. And I've been pushing it off because, League of Legends, all I want to do is play ARAMs and ARF and all that stuff just because, I don't want to play it serious. I want to have fun. And that does it. So I've been watching Brandon specifically play it. Basically what would happen is every single time him and I met up to play Ocarina of Time Randomizer, he coincidentally would be in a game of Teamfight Tactics. And he'd screen share it to me.
Mhm.
And then he started showing me different strategies. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool and stuff like that. And, he's
Yeah,
like, you should.
just auto chess.
Just one night, I decided to give it a shot. And I'm like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. And immediately got curb stomped. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to learn this shit because that did not make me feel good. And so I've only played like 6 or 7 games because they are incredibly long if you let them. They can get
Oh.
fairly up there. Oh.
Yeah, they can get long, but I guess since you don't normally play Summoner's Rift games, norms or ranked, you're not used to longer games. RFRF and ARAMs are way faster than those. So
I mean,
it
a
is
half
faster
hour,
than
45
normal
minutes
Summoner's
is
Rift.
long.
Well, no, but like I've never had an ARAM or a TFT game go for 45 minutes. Yeah, and I've won
Yeah, you
some.
did. I yelled at you in message on League of Legends for a TFT game going for 45 minutes.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I just really like the game, so it doesn't feel like it goes for that long.
Time goes by when you're having fun staring at your screen.
Right?
And so Teamfight Tactics, and learning how to play this auto chess style game, I got a little upset that Lux essentially is like the end all be all character that I'll
she's
probably
so strong. Yeah.
so I'll never see her unless I hit like perfect storm situation. So I've been learning a couple of things. Like Brandon tried to get me hooked on trying the Ocean Mage comp, but
Oh, Ocean Mage is busted, bro.
I've taken a certain liking to Poison Rangers, and I'm starting to really like that
Ooh.
because, well, Poison Rangers is the only composition that got me the first place. So if it works, makes me happy, right?
Yeah.
But
I do like in TFT that you don't have to win to get like actual to climb in the
yeah,
standings.
4th place
because-
or higher,
like-
you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played so many games and I think I've won twice. Like winning in that consistently is an art that I will probably never master. But so you're liking Poison Rangers, and have you tried Ocean Mage out?
Oh, yeah, I
Or
tried
have you
Ocean
kind of just-
Mages a few times.
Yeah.
My big problem initially was when somebody, I'm facing somebody, it's like, I gotta win this game right here, right now. It's, it's the 4th fight, 1st player, 2nd player. So I start burning my gold to get my level up fast possible so I can put more people on the stage. Problem with that, though, with Teamfight Tactics, the more gold you have, the more gold you get. So like an interest, if you will. So the goal in the beginning is to build your team, but at the same time, you got to keep your gold as high as possible so you can generate the most. That way, in the long run, you're actually at the best advantage. So it's like,
Mhm.
I had the grit teeth, like taking hits in the beginning of, the game, but in the end, you win. So it's like showing patience. And then I realized,
Ends
like,
actually justify the means.
right.
Mhm.
And it pays off. I played some Ocarina of Time Randomizer with Brandon this week, shocker, and we hit a wall. like adamantium wall. And it turns out somehow we managed to glitch the game, or we were just goofs. And there is a chest somewhere in either of games that we've either opened and it didn't give us the item we needed to, or we missed it somehow. Uh, Ocarina of Time, has I think 132 different chests you can open throughout the game. So there's a lot of checks that you can do, but unfortunately, despite him and I having a checklist and going to each and every single chest in both our games, we couldn't find the one item that, one of us might have needed to progress the game. And so we couldn't beat it. And that's upsetting because it's set with logic to where it guarantees that you both can beat the game as long as you guys follow the logic of, what items you get and whatnot. You get bombs, you go over to this location. And so Brandon last night decided what better way to resolve this than to throw gasoline on it with Game Shark codes and proceeded to cheat the shit out of the game. And I'm sitting there like watching him. Yeah, he put in a code to allow some, if you press L, you hover up in the air just randomly. But some reason the Game Shark code didn't accept it, so he just infinitely Willy Wonka'd himself towards the fan, and he just had no control over it. And there was a time where he gave his horse like 8 times speed or some shit, which immediately caused the game to crash. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to cheat on the thing. I just wanted to call the run, just end it. We're going to try again. We're going to look at the fucking rules and see what's going on here, because there was a lot of issues, I guess you could say. It seemed like there was some hiccups here and there. We didn't know certain locations were open, which caused us a 2-hour backup the first time. It was just frustrating, but I think we're going to put it to rest. Or we're just going to burn it to the ground, one of the two. But I'm burnt out from Ocarina of Time. It's weird saying that I'm burnt out from a Zelda game, but that's what it did.
First time for everything, huh?
Yeah. And there is a game that came out this week, technically last week, that I got put a little bit of time in, starting to enjoy it, called Dreams for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I saw some posts that you put on Twitter about that game.
Yeah, it probably doesn't do it justice, actually, but Media Molecule, I believe, is the name of the developer for that this game. And I know, I believe it's Media Molecule that also did Little Big Planet,
Big
I
Planet.
believe.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, you can almost see the similarities immediately. The idea, Little Big Planet was your cute little characters that you can customize, and you're doing platformers and all that stuff. But on the flip side, you can create levels that have all sorts of different amounts of creativity. It could just be a regular platformer level. It could be, you could build a fucking rocket ship if you wanted to try to fly across the map and all that stuff. Somebody made a calculator using Little Big Planet. And so they liked that idea, but apparently they wanted to take it a step further and just say, hey, when's if we just give you tools to develop a fucking game? Just like full-blown game, your own. It doesn't have to be a platformer, technically. You can make it whatever the fuck you want. And so
buy a game to make a game?
This is a 3D game maker, essentially, yes. And so the idea, they give you this cute little cutscene that's about 10-15 minutes long that you interacted with, and it's like, just follow your dreams and do what you want. Like, I felt like I was like, man, do I need some THC for this? Because it's like, hit this.
Yes, Charlie.
And, wanna go to the Magic Mountain, Charlie? No, I don't want to go to the Magic Mountain. And so I did that, and then it kind of plops in the ground. I'm like, all right, you know how to do shit now. Here you go. And it just opens up the curtains to what they're trying to paint at this magical world. And it's basically everybody's own version of trying to build their own Disney World. And it's fucking hilarious. It's like, welcome to the most magical place on the planet. And there's like couches on fire and shit everywhere. It's like, whoa. Wow, everybody's developing their own games, huh? Yep, they're doing this. And so they have they're like, we're going to show you a game that we use with their own engine to show you what can be done. And so I got to play a game about a blues brother who pretty much walked away from his group because he thought he was the best and he was being toned down. and they did a good job with the style and whatnot. You know, it wasn't like a $60 game, but you know, it was a single game they're able to develop, and I had a good time with it. And so I was
Hmm.
like, okay, cool. But people, including myself, can make games in this game. So I was like, let's see what we got. And the first thing I clicked was I think it was called Valkyrie or something like that. And it was this very well designed Valkyrie with a couple of like Destiny style orbs that you can jump around on. And I was like, okay, it's a simple platformer, I guess. Just to, you know, right now people who aren't beta testing or whatnot or didn't get early access are just starting to make their games. So it's more I'm gonna have to wait a week or two just to see, you know, what's going on. But there's some good things that people who got early access did, except they're, you know, obviously they didn't get their Q&Aing done because, like, for example, I found Sonic and I'm like,
I saw
holy
that
shit,
one.
they made a motherfucking Sonic game. 4 levels? Oh shit, here we go. And they get to design the characters from scratch. They get to design like what they do from scratch and all that stuff. And it looks cool as shit. Except for the time I accidentally hit a button at the wrong time and it caused Sonic to start spamming the crouch move. And so I'm trying to walk around, I'm hearing as Sonic, and then I tried speeding up and he's just crouching, hip humping his way up a wall, and then proceeds to go to the moon. And I'm like, okay, I guess, you know, this is Sonic. I mean, still better than Sonic 06, so we're doing something right. And apparently that video is what caused Brandon to get this fucking game. But there's other things that look very promising. There was another one where they made an RPG, a 3D RPG, and it, you know, it's just the very beginning, showing you a promise. Get to play as 3 characters, and I decided to pick the mage, and the way they designed the fireballs and stuff when they threw them looked fucking cool. I really liked it. There was one where somebody made Family Guy. I have no idea. I got to play as oh crap, what is the name of the perverted guy in Family Guy?
Quagmire.
Quagmire.
Giggity giggity. All right, yeah.
His name is
You could-
Glenn.
Oh, I think I found
Glenn
something here.
Quagmire.
I think I did find something here. So you get to pick any of the
Did you know?
characters, and somebody decided to make Family Guy characters from scratch, and so they look like they're made out of putty and whatnot, so they're comical at best. And they just put 2 random houses. I think they were trying to design the Family Guy houses based off the TV show. So I just started running around, and all of a sudden, whenever the characters saw me, they'd run up to me and line behind me like Pikmin. And so I was just randomly collecting Family Guy characters. And so I haven't gotten too far into it, but there was a couple of ones that sounded promising. Brandon told me in detail about how there's one that's based off of Silent Hill, and I'm kind of excited for that. And I'm gonna start hunting for the Dead Space level that I saw in early access, because it, like, my first worry was it was gonna be Little Big Planet characters that are traversing different areas and whatnot, and no, that's not it at all. You pretty much get open access to make fucking everything. Like, this is hardcore Super Mario Maker mode. Like, you know, you can make a level, you can platform, but what happens if we just give you fucking everything? Now, why would anybody who's a video game developer do this on Dreams versus actually just building their own game is beyond me. It's fucking beyond me. But maybe some people who are,
Because
you
it's
know,
not
rookies.
it's not like a Blizzard thing where they're taking the rights to anything people create because it was made on their platform, is it?
Yeah, and everything's free.
Huh.
So they just make it's essentially a level that they create for you, but it can be a full blown game if you put enough time in it. So yeah, Dreams. I'll play some more this week.
Have you thought of anything that you want to make, maybe?
I do not have enough knowledge. I'm sure they give it to you and they tutorialize you how to do it. It's weird because there's a game that I've had building in my head over all these years. I do not believe that Dreams could work this out, especially with me as the developer. It would be cute, it'd be funny. I don't think it's feasible. And then I was like, what happens if I make it with the D&D campaign? And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. But the players would just fucking ruin your dream game right there and for you. I was like, okay, maybe not. We'll think things out. But yeah, Dreams looking promising. really fucking weird right now with the gates just open. Everybody's throwing like their baby's first development game on there, and hoping to see how things progress. I might try creating something like I don't even know what you create at that point. Like, what do you do?
I would make a Tamagotchi or a Digimon emulator just for like the OG ones. Immediately, that's all that came to my head. I was like, I could make those. That'd be awesome. I love
Somebody randomly
Tamagotchis.
started making Pokemon on there, and so
Nice.
yeah, Pokemon on PlayStation 4. But Nintendo's really selling out. I'm kind of worried that like some companies are going to try to take down levels. Like, like that's copyright actually. Bye, kind of shit.
Well,
I hope not.
it. It depends. I know Nintendo's notorious for it, but then that just comes down to free use of intellectual property because there are some laws regarding that, and there
Yeah.
has to be a certain amount of remix and original recreation where legally anybody could do that as long as they're not selling it for profit.
Yeah. I
And
was gonna
also,
say since it's all free, like
yeah, and also like this is what that game was made specifically for. It's not like you could, at least from what you've described, it's not like you could make a Pokemon game like visually looking the same or whatever and then sell it as an expansion as a player of Dreams.
Right.
So it just sounds like something to just sounds like fucking Minecraft. You don't see people fucking taking down Minecraft mods or like
Minecraft
stuff like
servers.
that. Minecraft servers. I mean, I'm sure there've been attempts, but it's not like they're selling it for money, right?
Right.
So it's
Just donations in the Minecraft sense, but we'll look away from that. In this case, you're right. Like, you bet your ass Sony is not gonna brag like, "Ha! If you want to try out Dreams, we're gonna show you this cool thing where we did a Pokemon and Family Guy." It's like, no, they're not gonna showcase that because A, and B, it's not their property. So it's like, but
Yeah.
that and
just
also,
to
yeah,
show,
why exactly would you want to like kick the hornet's nest or whatever? Just
Yeah.
people are doing this. You don't have to showcase it. It's just something.
Just let
cool
people
for-
come in and have fun doing what they want to.
right? And so I'm
Same.
excited. I'm excited to see what people can do with horror games, because horror games they're not necessarily easy to make, but if you know how to psychologically affect the atmosphere in the right way, you can turn anything into a horror game. Like just fucking make Barney's voice and Barney and Friends like 50% deeper, and you put some like
What's
screaming
that?
in the background.
The Freddy's thing, Friday Night
Five
at
Nights at
Freddy's or
Freddy's.
whatever.
Five Nights at
Five
Freddy.
Nights
Yeah.
at Freddy's. Yeah, just think about that with Barney and like the
There
other
is. I'm
dinosaurs.
pretty sure there is a game
there's-
of that.
Bro, Barney's already
Oh.
fucking terrifying. What do you mean?
There was a Five Nights at Freddy's with SpongeBob characters. That was fucking freaky.
There's a Left 4 Dead 2 mod where all the zombies turn into Teletubbies.
I'm down.
No, fuck that. That sounds terrifying.
Oh God, get away from me! Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, that's all I have for Dreams for now. What about you, Glenn?
I have been on kind of the same trains as previous playing League. I haven't done TFT in a while. I probably need to jump on the new season. We did Blackwing Lair.
Finally!
Um,
Fucking finally,
Nice.
Blackwing
and by
Lair.
we did Blackwing Lair, I mean we played it for 5 hours and we beat 2 of the bosses.
Nice.
Blackwing Lair is a lot harder than Molten Core.
Yeah.
And we only brought 10 healers, which is not enough. So since I'm
10
one of the lower
healers?
gear score, 10 healers is not enough. They recommend 12 to 13.
Holy shit!
So
Back in the
'cause
day,
some of the bosses fucking.
well, it's a
wreck.
40 man. It's a 40 man. I was thinking like Wrath of the Lich King, Ice Crown Citadel. There's usually 4 to 5 healers for a 25 man group, so 1/5. So I guess by that logic, I was only expecting like maybe 8, but the fact that you got 10 and that's not enough.
Yeah, and ironically enough, it just sucks because a lot of guys came in with a lot of like greater fire protection potions and free action potions. I think one guy burnt 300 gold worth of potions in 2 bosses. Just because we just kept failing. The first boss wasn't that bad. The second boss is apparently he's a
The
guild
dragon?
killer. Yeah,
Yep.
he's a guild
Yep.
killer. He's
Yes,
a
it is.
permanent stopgap for some guilds back in vanilla. But I did hear this. First off, our guild did get past it. Ironically enough, by the time that no one had fire protection potions, that's when we beat him. And we were like, "Oh, great." And it also recommends you bring 4 or 5 tanks. We had 3. So we had too few healers, too few tanks, and burnt all of our consumables before we found out the strats that we needed and figured those out.
That
Um,
boss in particular has mechanics that simply can't be avoided no matter how good you are. Just like, for example, I went in there with like 3 other level 80 characters, and there's a debuff on you where you can't get rid of it unless you do the right thing. And
yes,
if you don't know,
5% of your 5% of your health.
you
Yep.
just die. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And you explode, dealing 4 to 6,000 damage to everyone around you. Not to mention his cleave attack. One attack, just it will hit a person and then spread 20,000 damage out with a maximum of 4 on one person. So
Sounds right.
he just straight up wrecks people. And we have one of our tanks was highly geared towards fire resist gear, and he was ironically enough the only one that couldn't make it. So that was wonderful. I did talk to the guildmaster. I have a massive list because I used some of my DKP to get a helmet that dropped, which is really cool. It's like the Helm of Endless Rage or something like that. It's like a lot of strength, stamina, and agility with like 700 armor.
Okay.
But my gear score is low enough that when they have to bring another tank and they need 2 more healers, I'm not going to Blackwing Lair anymore. So phase 3 now, and I have no access to 75% of my gear. That's where 75% of my best in slot stuff is Blackwing Lair, and I'm no longer allowed to do it until I
Because of
get
your gear score
more.
being too low.
Yeah, I don't have Lionheart Helm. I don't have Hand of Justice. I don't have Savage Gladiator Chain. The things that I've needed that I had to grind certain things for,
Right.
my RNG has been shit to get them. The Mask of the Unforgiven is like a 40% drop rate that you can get in Strat Live, I believe. And
Okay.
I've never seen it. I've run Strat Live 50 times and I've never even seen it drop. Oh, sorry, no. I saw it drop once and I rolled off against one other guy and he won it. So I've seen the True Spike Shoulders once. I've done BRD Arena Angerforge runs 120 times, and I've never seen Savage Gladiator Chain or Hand of Justice drop. So
WoW
just
Classic
not
was
good luck.
savage back in the day, man.
It's
It
rough,
it
especially
sucks
for Armed
that you
Warriors.
yeah. It sucks that you got gatekeep to essentially like, hey, sorry, there's better
It's
people
all
out
right.
there. What's that? Most of the
Well,
items you need are in that area in particular. Sucks to be you, son.
yeah, well, but they have all the everything they like. The one guy who I think he's the only one in our guild who's done BRD more than me had to run BRD 147 times before he found Savage Gladiator Chain.
Jesus
So like,
Christ.
right,
Sorry,
it's
just
one of those things where
fuck.
you just and then like our guild leader, Jalcion, like he ran it twice. Savage Gladiator Chain, done. Don't need it again. But that's one of those things that in the earlier phases for sure, I don't know how they didn't realize that the warrior would be so flexible and that it's got 3 trees and 2/3 of the trees are damage based, but all of the warrior tier gear is for tanks. So like I'm rolling against sometimes warrior tanks, rogues, fury warriors, hunters, and feral druids for all of my gear in the raid.
Time to roll
So
a mage.
I'm thinking about I've got an Eye of Flame, and apparently fire mages are better in later phases. So I'm thinking I may level my second one as an alt mage, and I'll do enchanting because you make dope money off
Hell
of
yeah.
enchanting what is it? Um what's that stuff? The real Arcanite bars.
Hmm.
That's the other thing I'm doing right now is trying to get enough Arcanite bars to make a Lionheart helm because it's best in slot for a warrior for a long time. Anyway, WoW Classic is fun. I told the guy I have no harsh feelings that my RNG's been bad. I'll keep running, what's it called?
Strathhelm.
Um, Not Stratholm, Molten Core. Because the beauty is that now that we have actually a DKP system in place, if these guys are running Blackwing Lair and spending their DKP on Blackwing Lair stuff, when we get to Molten Core, I'm gonna have well, I guess I'm not running BWL, so they're getting more DKP for running the raid. So I may have a hard time in this guild getting anything unless I want to respect tank or fury.
That's
So,
why in this current economy, the way the system is set isn't working. We're letting the people who can get more take more. No, I'm not gonna.
it's true.
Sorry, I just got jokingly
Real.
political, but then I realized actually it sounds kind of serious and familiar. Uh-oh.
But it is fun. I'm having fun with the game. And other than that, I finished Outer Worlds this week.
Congrats.
Yesterday, actually.
Holy shit.
It is in my top 5 games.
Like, of all time?
That's of all time. It is that enjoyable. It's one of those things where I think every video game out there has a hard time making it look like my mouth is moving when words are coming out of it. That's my biggest qualm with the game. Sometimes the facial
I noticed
animations are
that,
a little
yeah.
weird, and I'm just like, just make the mouth move when I'm talking. Doesn't feel like the face is a very difficult thing to animate, and I get that. That's my biggest qualm. And
Warcraft 3.
with I wanted there to be more. I did every side quest I could. I ground for gear. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna find all this stuff. I was like, what science weapons or what unique weapons can I find? What armor can I find? How can I, further progress my relationship with all these different factions? And I'm definitely not going to reveal anything, but if you liked any of the Fallout games, Mass Effect, No Man's Sky a little bit, like you're going to like this game.
Hmm.
It's fun. Very fun. So I enjoyed that. What have you been playing this week, Nick?
Tyler, this is where you can tune out. I'm back on my Destiny 2 grind. Because seasonal stuff. I think I talked about this last week.
Community
But
bundle.
yeah, but I'm taking it very nice and casually, and I'm having fun with it, honestly.
Can I play with
and
you sometime?
Sure. If you ever need help getting set up, running strikes, doing whatever, like I'm
Oh,
always down.
bro.
Just have to
I
let me
think
know.
I had 400 hours in the game when I stopped, so
Right.
it'd just be getting reacclimated because I have a buddy who's super on that train right now, and
Right.
he's loving getting back in the Destiny grind. So what's new right now?
So much is fucking new, and everything's changing every week, every season. But right now, specifically, I talked about it last week. There's that community event going on where you have to generate these things, donate them, and then hopefully unlock a goal for the entire community. And I believe we're at stage 5 out of 7 right now, so we're
What's
getting
the
close.
reward?
Honestly, no idea. But it ends
Hmm.
at the end of the season. And we don't know what happens if we get it early. So we still have about a week and a half or 2 weeks left, I think. March 6th is the end date or something like that. Yeah. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
They even put out like this week is a special Valentine's Day week. They have a new game mode in the Crucible, which is a PvP, which is doubles. So 2v2
Aww, that's so cute.
with some special buffs and like nerfs, buffs and debuffs depending on the situation. So you get a buff if you're close within a certain range of your like your partner. And like your abilities recharge faster, you reload weapons faster. If your partner is killed for 10 seconds, you get a buff called Vengeance or something, which means like you just move faster, your health regenerates instantly, and it helps you go get 2v1. It helps you fight that. And then if you stay away from your partner too long, the enemy will be able to see where you are. So it forces you to work together as a team.
Incentivizes teamwork. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And I played with a friend, and we just honestly, I think we went on like a 12 or 13 game win streak. It was fun. I had a good time.
Wow.
Which is not saying much in this like time of Destiny, specifically because there's so much like cheesy
These
bullshit
dark
in
and
the
trying
Crucible.
times.
But no, it was still a good time. Like I enjoy pub stomping a little bit. I understand how it
Do
can
you
be
use the
frustrating, but
cheesy
we were being
bullshit?
no, not a lot. Sometimes I will if I have to get the quest done. Ideally, I'd like not to. I just like my hand cannon and sniper because I feel like that's the most.
Cannon.
Yeah.
The last time I played, the best hand cannon in the game was Thorn, I believe it was called.
Thorn is not the best right now. It's called something called the Spare Rations, but I love the Thorn. It feels good. Like I don't
Is
know
it
what.
still good?
It's still a good hand cannon. Like its perks are not like overpowered. They're not broken. I just like the way it feels. Like I like the recoil
Yeah.
pattern. I like the sound it makes. Just everything about the gun feels right for me. And
It's also a really cool looking gun.
also a very cool looking gun. A lot of people don't like using the Thorn because it chews up your exotic slot on the weapon side. But
What are
I
you
don't
gonna use
care.
a Galahorn?
It's not D1, Glenn. So I've been doing that. Been playing a little bit more Escape from Tarkov, learning the systems a little bit better. It's one of those games where I had to go and find a YouTube video on how to make budget builds for guns because when you go into like a player raid, so there's two kinds. I don't know if I covered that, but there's two kinds of raids. You can load in as an AI player, and you get procedurally generated weapons and gear. And like you load in as one of the AI players because it's you go into these maps with AI players and actual players. AI players are called scavs. The actual players are called PMCs, private military contractors.
Mhm.
And so you can load in as a randomly generated character to loot up a little bit and get out. So you can like kind of every now and then refresh your loot and maybe find something new. And then you can go in with your actual character that you kit up yourself, you build up yourself, armor, weapons, whatever. Um, and then you have money, and then you have a marketplace, and then like you get all these parts, and you build all these weapons if you wanted. Once you have enough money, and once you know enough, so it got to the point where I actually had to go and find a YouTube video explaining all these different parts and what's like good budget builds for certain guns. And so I built a few of them, and I went in and I died, and it was frustrating because like some maps are like thermal scopes. And somebody will just sit like fucking 600,000 miles away, and then you just walk in, and then you just die, and you don't know where from. So
That's
it,
like
like it has,
hardcore in Modern Warfare.
yeah, it's very like realism focused, which is a new game type for me. I've never really enjoyed those kinds of games.
Right.
And so with friends, it's fun. I don't like doing it alone because it's one of those things where it's very tactical. Like if I have somebody playing with me and they're like we're making call outs, we're scanning each location as we're going along, we're moving in like a line, and then we're like, fucking button hook entries into doors and like into like hallways and passages. Like it's very fun and intense, and I like being told what to do in games like this because I play very aggressive. So if there's somebody who's with me telling me
No.
you need to slow down, you need to stop moving, loot this, loot that, watch my back, okay, go ahead and loot, what do you need, like as long as there's somebody with, like, I work well in that environment with a game like this. And so the people I've been playing with, it's been a good time. Yeah, it's definitely a game that it's not for everybody. Watch people play it. It has its slow moments. I call it the prone simulator because you spend so much time just lying prone and waiting for people to run across, or just hiding in bushes. Some people call it the waiting
That's
simulator because you just wait in rooms. Like you just wait. Like there are hot zones in certain maps, and you just wait. You hear footsteps. Somebody peeks into the room. Fucking.
Yep.
um,
Don't you also lose all of your equipment if you die?
yes. So if you load in as a player character, as a PMC, each PMC has one slot. Two things that they can't lose. They can't lose their melee weapon, so a knife or axe or whatever you have, and then you have a pouch with a container that's secure. So anything that's in that pouch, you won't lose it on death. But the starting container size is only 4 slots.
Mhm.
And so it's very small because I think it goes up to 12 slots or something. And the more you pay for the game, the more like you'll get a bigger one and you'll get upgraded stash size and stuff. It's also a very like large inventory manager. It's like a Tetris simulator essentially because you have to like rotate things around and make sure you have enough space, sell things that you don't need, know when to sell things, know when to keep things. There's a lot to learn with the game. It's information overload almost.
And there's no story mode outside of that. It's simply the online stuff.
No, there's no sort, like you have quests and stuff that you can complete for different vendors to unlock different things and build reputation with them. But the story is essentially there's I can't remember specifically whether it's like a war zone or like a zone called Tarkov, and you go in, loot up, kill people, leave. That's essentially the lore. It's around based around that loose plot line that I've just described. Because I haven't really paid anything else. Yeah. And then the only other game I've been playing for whatever fucking reason it's become fun again is Apex Legends.
Oh boy.
That game is fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I put 90 hours into it before I stopped playing for a few months. And then my friend started playing again, and then I started playing again because he was playing, and I'm like, yay. Okay, cool. Let's try this. and then now it just feels good again. And so I'm just enjoying that. I just want the old map back because there's a new map that they came out with. I think season 3 or fucking whatever. Fuck all these seasons. Whatever, like a little while ago, and then I don't like it as much, and I want the old map back. But yeah, it's all I've been playing this week, getting my shooter fill in.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Lots of shooters for you then.
I mean that's my
That's pretty
my go-to.
consistency, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I enjoy, which makes it hard sometimes.
Well,
Fair.
especially to try and find variety. But it must be nice when you can go back to games that you did enjoy, because especially for a shooter fan of FPSers, then like sometimes it's hard to do that. But
Yeah.
um, is that yeah? It's time to move
Yeah.
on to the tangent war chest. And it seems
I took care of the
appropriate
rolling.
that we were talking about shooters.
Yeah, they're both technically shooters.
Tyler, you want to take this one?
Oh, there's 2 shooters and then there's Witcher. So the tangent war chest, where we talk randomly about tangents and whatnot. I'm sure we'll keep this short, but maybe not. The 2 words or phrases of the day is GoldenEye, but with dildos, and Witcher.
I believe both of those might have been mine.
They're both green, so you know what? I'm in. Yes, that sounds correct.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Good choices, Nick, by the way. So, Glenn, how do you
Fun
feel
fact.
about GoldenEye but with dildos?
Just imagine Odd Job running around with this giant dildo just smacking people in the knees. Oh my god. You can't play Odd Job with the big one.
The big one. Nick, I cut you off. What were you saying, man?
I've never played GoldenEye, but
Never?
for whatever reason, when I
Somebody
made that
made it in Dream.
when I made that list, or when I was making that set of like whatever, I think before or after or something, I'd heard GoldenEye that day, and I've seen like gameplay, not a lot, but I've seen enough gameplay, and like people love it, and I'm like, what would happen if you took a classic game but replaced all the guns and weapons with dildos?
Would just be weird. I think.
It'd be a hell of a stealth mission, I guess. Like,
That
not
is-
even a gun that shots dildos, like rubber bullets. It would just be like they have melee
Killing
weapon
each other with
dildos.
Yeah.
How hard would you need to smack somebody with a dildo to kill them?
How hard? I would
The
have
questions
to
we asked
be very
ourselves.
soft. I don't want
What
to.
kind of material? How
Stainless
who's
steel.
the manufacturer? Stainless steel dildo.
solid?
Oh my god.
I
it's
would
just a
essentially
metal
just be
pipe
like a
that
really
looks like a
thick
dick.
metal pipe.
I mean, you're not wrong. Just Carmen Electra, for some reason, she has a no. That's not GoldenEye. Sorry, I'm thinking of Tomorrow Never Dies. Yeah, like
See
some
that
reason-
they just released the new Bond? Or they released the name of the new Bond film?
I didn't know.
It's something about dying.
Sounds accurate.
But it's supposed to be it's like Never
James
Die
Bond
Forever
13.
or something like that.
It's called No Time to Die.
No Time
Something,
to Die.
something
And
die.
somebody the estimated runtime of it is like 3 hours and something minutes or something. And somebody was like, the new Bond film is called No Time to Die, but it's 3 hours and some minutes long. That's plenty of time. Like, oh, and the jokes get started.
Yeah, and Nick pointed in the chat. Nick pointed out that dildos can also be made of glass. So imagine it's a bar fight or something. The guy pulls out a glass dildo.
I really
smacks
like
it
this
across
one.
The table.
Yeah.
This one's a real
Oh my
prick.
gosh.
So with The Witcher, I guess in this case, something might make sense because with The Witcher 3, they have crossbows.
Hey, they shoot dildos.
Fuck.
But you
How
should
hard
the
do you
suction
have to
end
be
first.
shot by a dildo to die?
Oh boy, suction cup dildos. So us 3 guys are gonna talk in rapid details about the anatomy of dildos. I like this. Okay.
I've never seen one.
Okay. Uh, I have
yeah,
no
okay, so with The Witcher
safe
3,
response to this. Yeah.
like you have dildos and you load them up with suction cup dildos with the suction cups like doing the shooty bit. And then you just stick enemies with the suction cups, and then you just ridicule them to death.
Stick enemies. I like it. You, wait, you say
Because they just have
you say
ridicule. You just
decapitate?
die.
mock them to death.
They die of embarrassment. Somebody needs to make that in Dream. Tyler, do it. Do it, Tyler. It's GoldenEye with dildos.
And so
And
when you factor in
crossbows.
like GoldenEye, just imagine like Cyberpunk, but with the Witcher characters and GoldenEye characters, but they've got guns and swords and like fucking crossbows that shoot dildos. They use dildos as swords.
As if James Bond wasn't a male power fantasy enough.
Oh my god.
We have to make the power play by taking our dicks in our own hands. Sorry, dildos.
I can't remember. There was one movie. I think it was a Seth Rogen movie. I can't remember who the actress was in it. Bad Neighbors. I think it was Mila Kunis.
Oh, his
where-
wife?
Yeah, yeah.
Australian. Yeah. No, it's not Mila Kunis. I don't remember her name, but she's Australian.
No, not his wife. Like in the movie. So it was Seth Rogen and Mila Kunis, I think. Or hang on. I'm just gonna look this up. But basically, they moved next to like a frat house. And there was a scene in the frat house where the guys, for whatever reason, are making dildos, but casting them off their own penises. Because there's like a make your own dildo thing. Basically, it's like a tube with putty or whatever, and you just stick your dick in it, and then like you pour whatever into the molded forms, and then you create a dildo off that. So what if in a world where they use dildos as swords, the ultimate weapon is you need to find a master craftsman to make a sword off your own penis?
It would be quite sharp.
I'd have a hell of a dagger.
That's what I was getting to in that whole build up. Yeah.
Ah, okay, cool.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So I'm gonna walk away from the dildo part just a little bit here. What would it be like instead of James Bond, Witcher, Geralt? Is it Geralt? Yeah, Geralt of Rivia. Was James Bond in the movie / game GoldenEye? How do you think he would handle things?
Fuck.
Do you think
Probably
he'd
just
be?
in the mood the whole
Fuck.
time.
Would he acclimate to the gun? Do you think? He'd be a sword
Yes.
guy, right? Or do you
Yeah,
think?
no, he'd acclimate to the gun, but he'd use it as a melee weapon.
Like fucking
So you'll be-
This is
Equilibrium.
Bayonetta.
You'd be fucking twirling it around, like doing spins and flips and just whacking people across
Have
the
you
face
seen
with.
Equilibrium?
Is that the one with Denzel Washington?
No. That's the Equalizer.
That's the Equalizer. I love that movie.
Equilibrium
Second
is Christian Bale and Taye Diggs and a decent amount of other actors in it. But
yes,
it's,
this movie that came
it's
out when I
basically-
was 7 that my parents
like
wouldn't have let me
very-
watch.
it's so good, dude. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen it now, it's very good. And the fighting style they use, I forget what they call it, but it's a combination of like martial arts where you're using your 2 pistols that fire in burst round effective auto, so they've got extended mags, and you use them to like hit people at the same time to disorient them and like change most of their
Sound
training
effects
is
and
trying to be
everything. Nice.
it's trying to be mathematical and statistical about the most specific best ways they can shoot in a certain spot, hit in a certain way to get them in a position where they can kill them faster in close range with guns.
It's also kind of like the Reaper's son from Soul Eater.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Death. Yes. Shinigami's son. Yes. Death. And he also uses his pistol weapons that he's like his weapon bond or whatever. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've read that.
His death slice in training. His gun ladies that he holds up down. And he
Yes.
fires with the fucking pinkies.
Yes, yeah, but he also like in some of the scenes in the mangas, he uses them in melee combat too. So I'm like, could be like that, and also just imagine fucking John Wick. He's not always shooting his gun. He likes to get in melee range too sometimes.
So I'm trying to imagine, like, maybe these guns, some reason they can only hit when they're within like 5 feet of each other. I feel like Geralt would win. Also, I think Geralt walking up, to the in those old golden or James Bond films, there's always that, female protagonist that some reason James Bond has to woozy himself up to, but Geralt sadly might be a good fit for this, depending on the situation. Like, my name's Geralt of Rivia.
Yeah,
You're
especially
so
because
sexy. Fuck off. I'm basically asexual.
and Nick points this out too. Henry Cavill, it realistically could also possibly play James Bond, but as far as I know, with what I've heard, there it's
Idris
not
Elba.
just no, it's not specifically also about the fact that they have to be English. They have to. It has to be a specific accent
Oh, really?
that they look for.
'Cause I know that-
I believe, and I believe it's
Well,
called.
Idris Elba is, I think, the next one that's going to be doing it. So
Well, that's what people want, and Daniel Craig was not supposed to do this next one.
I mean, you
Um,
say that, but Sean Connery has a hell of, I believe, of a Scottish accent.
yeah,
That's true, but that was a while ago before I think they started normalizing it or wanted to try to, and they were like trying to look for
James
some
Bond.
consistency. Yeah, I don't know. Like the people who are in charge of the films are very finicky with the details, and they want to try and stay true to the source material, which makes sense. I'm not going to fault them for that, but I could definitely see. I'd love to see Idris Elba as James Bond. I think he'd do a great job. Henry Cavill would also, I think, do a great job because he did a spy movie called what the fuck was it called? The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Oh,
yeah,
what
very
a
very
good movie.
underrated.
Yeah,
Mhm.
with yeah, no, it was a good movie.
Now I'm gonna imagine like Q giving James Bond a tool that's in the shape of a dildo. Like, yes, normally it looks just like a dildo. It'll go great in your luggage, but you like twist out the battery case or something. It actually has a mixture of C4 cyanide and an acid that eats right through the steel bars in case you're ever trapped. There's no way they're gonna throw you in prison and not leave you with the dildo.
Listen, you also don't want Q to be giving James Bond dildos like disguised as other weapons willy nilly, because Moneypenny's gonna lose her fucking mind.
Moneypenny.
I know Moneypenny is a character, but like you name off characters and it's like ... over my forehead.
She's the secretary who's always had a thing for James Bond.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, like comically so. Like some of the movies, she's comic relief more than anything else.
Ah, like the Amy Rose to Sonic.
Yeah. So Nick specifically, she's the secretary for M.
Okay.
Okay. So also in that vein, since we're talking about films, there is a pretty big one that's coming out for any sort of fans of this specific series. I don't know.
There's no fans. There's
Saga?
only legions.
There's well, that do you? I feel like
Hordes.
a legion of fans is significant, and this series
That's
may
a
just
windmill
have that.
factory. That's how
We're
many
going to be
fans
talking
there are.
today about what game getting a movie.
I have no idea.
Me neither. What are we talking about, Glenn?
You guys both know we're talking about a game that I don't care about at all, which is why I was passing it off to you. 'Cause I know
Tyler,
it's a
I
great
believe.
series.
Yeah,
This is,
Tyler.
seems like it's near and dear to Tyler, right?
This is his a method of because we're fucking dense. His method of segueing into the topic of the show.
Oh, he's talking about the fact that we want to talk about the Sonic.
The Sonic. Yeah, well, like, you're gonna go see it this week.
Again,
It's kind of
yes.
it looks like an FAQ for people who are interested in the history of the
So,
character.
a lot of shit has come out about the Sonic film that just came out this Friday. Happy Valentine's Day. Which is an interesting comparison compared to 4 years ago where Deadpool was, the thing. But, sure, we'll take Sonic instead. What's more romantic than a guy who can't die and shoots guns and transfer, over to blue furries. So,
Right. A tweet came across my timeline from I guess it went viral from a some lady who works at a movie theater, and she's like, I'm a little upset that there's gonna be a surprising amount of people that are gonna get laid after seeing a Sonic movie.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I don't know. It's one of those things where like, you've ruined my childhood. So, you know. But overall, just speaking quickly to the movie, I've heard that everybody who's watched it so far, at least on my side of the social media world, has loved Jim Carrey's performance. But beyond that,
Yeah.
yes, Tyler, continue. Sorry.
No, you're right. I don't think any of us have seen the movie yet. Unless Nick. Okay. And Glenn, you make it sound like you don't care about Sonic even a little bit, which is.
I don't mind it. I think I like Knuckles a hell of a lot more. He's a cooler character to me, but
You're a knuckler kind of guy, huh?
mm-hmm.
Like a little
1000%.
extra point to the fist. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Thank you, Glenn.
Hit me.
Some reason I felt that there was a need to give a call to Sonic because a lot of people, I didn't know where the fuck to go with that fucking knuckle pop. Just like, ooh, like, I cringe at gore. So that I know that's like softcore gore. It's
Like softcore gore.
I do it all the time too. It's just when hearing other people do it, like seeing somebody bleed out or anything like that, freaks me the fuck out. I am the Tsunade of like when it comes to that kind of stuff. But anyways, so Sonic is a character from Sega. From Sega, I think. Sonic's been in a few things. And honestly, let's be real. Yeah, everybody keeps saying, Tyler, I think you're a huge Sonic. No, I'm not. Actually, I've never beat a Sonic game. I've never finished a Sonic TV show or cartoon series of any kind. Glenn, how many Sonic characters can you name? Can you name 10?
I can name 3.
Okay, let's hear them.
Knuckles, Tails, Sonic.
Okay. Nick, do you think you can beat Glenn?
Knuckles, Tails, Sonic, Eggman / Robotnik.
Okay.
There it is.
You're working on it. God bless Jim Carrey. Anybody else? Nick's working it.
No, this is like we've passed the Nick Switch initiative. I'm not even gonna fucking try.
No, that's fair. I'm gonna try to name off characters, and I realized that I got more than that. So it's like, okay, so Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow the Hedgehog, Amy Rose. That's 5 so far. Eggman, Silver, Mecha Sonic. That's puts me at 8. We have the Chows. You can call pick Chaos if you want, whatever one you want to pick. Biggs the Cat. That's 10. Oh boy. Looks like Nick has helped me in the chat now. I hit 10 right there, so I'm gonna stop because this is embarrassing. Yeah. Okay. So apparently I did do.
But Glenn, he's not a fan of Sonic. He doesn't really like the series. He's never finished a game.
I'm edgy. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really
have a
like
wonderful
Sonic.
memory.
No, I don't, which is actually detrimental to this statement here. I did do a episode of Arcadia Academia, which was the PSVG, Did You Know podcast, and I was actually going to share that, but they actually took it down. Fuck them. Anyways, so Sonic has a lot of shit that he's been on. He's been on a fucking anime. He's in an anime. He's been in an adaptation of an anime, an OVA, 3 US comics, a UK comic, 4 Western animated series, and a theatrical movie, several manga, a short-lived French comic, and numerous book adaptations. What the fuck? That's a lot of Sonic. That's not the games.
Yeah.
That's not even the games. Like, Sonic's fucking everywhere. And if you want to count all the times fan comics have been made, Sonic 2, Sonic, no, okay. Do we want to do this?
Do what?
I don't know enough about Sonic, Tyler.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
So
actively looking up
I named
Sonic.
three characters. When I read all this stuff here, I was like, wow, that's a lot of really interesting things.
But it's interesting how, despite being one of the bigger cultural things, maybe not in
Yeah.
competition to other things, that I know so little about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I was treating it as a chance to learn along with anybody else that hadn't had the chance to either play the games because I didn't have a Sega. That was the biggest reason why I didn't know anything about it, growing up.
So
But
have you guys ever played a Sonic game?
Negative, sir.
nope.
Wow. So this topic of the show is basically my own like baby's passion project right here. And the guys are like, I guess just let him talk until he stops.
Oh, I'll
Well,
commentate. I'll commentate if something's interesting to me for sure, because some of this stuff is definitely noteworthy, and I kind of wonder, how.
All I know
Anyway,
is that despite being a furry creature, he can run so fast and still his hair doesn't go poofy. It makes no sense.
he's not as
And
fast as an
he's
Arcanine.
he's aerodynamic.
And
Uh,
and he does a spinny attack.
He does a spinny attack. So, fun fact, because you're probably going to hear a bunch of them. Sonic apparently isn't fast because he's naturally fast. It was originally attributed to his shoes. His Michael Jackson
Oh.
shoes is what gave him the speed. I'm pretty sure they changed that, but if you've ever seen Sonic without shoes, there's no like official adaptation of that. But that's horrifying level shit. Seeing Sonic with toes.
Wait, he has feet? I thought he
I
was
don't-
just shoes.
Maybe his.
'Cause I don't-
Is this a Sylveon situation again, where his shoes are part of his skin at this point?
Wait,
I mean, that's what they
Sylveon-
made it fucking seem like with the fucking first iteration in the movie. It was just horrific. So let's not talk
Oh,
about that.
Jesus. Now I'm trying to like. I guess we're gonna make this into a tangent thing. Essentially, what would happen? Do you think Sonic has athlete's foot? Like, if he doesn't ever take off his shoes, so he can't put any kind of powder in there. How bad do you think those fucking socks stink? His skin socks.
I don't know. I think if that's the case, it's like that. Did you hear about that woman who sat on her toilet for so long that her skin grew over the sides? And so she like started to physically meld with the toilet, and her boyfriend was charged with domestic abuse.
No,
Point
actually.
is, I think the shoes are a part of his feet at this point.
Well,
So
also-
like,
He runs so fast. Imagine how much heat his shoes are generating, and it's
But if they're,
because
like,
of
magic
contact and
shoes.
friction. Well, they're magic shoes, but does magic necessarily mean that it's going to take away all the effects? Sure, it might take away the fact that the friction is going to wear down the rubber just almost immediately, but that's not going to, because like physically, when energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transferred. So there's still that friction is still happening. So that heat has to go
but yeah,
somewhere.
but as soon as we start recognizing that they are magic shoes, we're ignoring some of the laws of physics. So
Well, that's fair, but my point was
Fucking
because
magic,
it's generating
man.
heat, it's just is like there's not a chance for sweat to even form. Like it's just fucking wicked away.
oh yeah, so it just immediately.
So it just keep his
evaporates.
feet dry. Yeah.
Guys, I think we just discovered the source of global warming. Sonic is
Fucking
infinitely,
Sonic.
with the power of magic, constantly transferring heat over to the earth. Sonic is melting the ice caps, man.
It's Sonic. Goddamn that little. What is he again?
He's a
Hedgehog?
hedgehog.
I hope so.
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
I've allegedly, yeah. I've seen hedgehogs before. They're super cute, but they look nothing like that guy.
No, they do not. They're not blue. They're not edgy. They're not fast. They're
Oh, they're
fucking
edgy.
temperamental. Well, they're sharp.
Like, as in pokey sharp or intelligent smart sharp?
No. They're pokey sharp. They're not that smart because like hedgehogs. I
They
looked
are
into this because I wanted to like own a hedgehog temporarily. I went through a phase like that. Like they're very temperamental. You can't let them get too cold because if they ever go into hibernation, they will die. They can't be around certain hardwood floors because a certain oil secreted by hardwood floors are toxic. You have to be very careful with how you feed them because if they get too fat, also they'll go into hibernation. Sometimes if it's too cold, then they'll die. Because more like I think it's like 3 out of 10 times they don't wake up out of hibernation.
Why don't they wake out of hibernation?
The fuck?
because they're not built to like go into hibernation. I guess that's just like a like
Like a
an
defense
extreme
mechanism, yeah.
extreme defense mechanism against extreme temperatures, but they're not
Huh.
meant to go into hibernation.
That's really
Huh.
interesting.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot about hedgehogs today. What a wonderful
Yeah. They were gonna make him a rabbit, but I guess the design was too complicated back in the day. Can you imagine Sonic the Rabbit? I feel like that would be more fitting if you think about it.
It'd be simpler because then you just have to draw like, you know, like think of Score Bunny. All
Yep.
you have on his head is just 2 ears instead of all this fucking fuzz and like these sharp edges. I guess
But it
maybe they
looks
wanted
so
something to look.
cool.
Yeah, I guess that's
They
why
needed a
wanted maybe
2D
appeal to,
platformer
like,
game.
toys or whatever.
Like the original concept was, and I didn't write this down, was they wanted something cool to shoot through a tube and go fast. And I guess like making a rabbit into that seemed maybe kind of weird, so
Well,
they wanted something
Okay,
rounded.
yeah. Taking that into account because then like hedgehogs can curl up. So
Mhm.
it, like makes sense why they maybe then went with a hedgehog, but then why wouldn't they have gone with the armadillo?
They were gonna
Because
do it, but
hedgehogs
they decided not to.
Because
They
hedgehogs
actually-
aren't fast. Or were they actually going to do it?
Yeah, it was either going to be a hedgehog or an armadillo. They decided to go with the hedgehog because the armadillo didn't look as cool. But as like a shout out, they took a character, I don't remember what the name is, but something the armadillo appears later in a arcade game for Sonic. I think it's called Sonic R. And so yeah,
Ah.
Armadillo was going to be the next contender after they shot down the whole rabbit thing, and they just needed somebody to replace Alex Kidd. Do you guys even know who Alex Kidd is?
Negative, sir.
No, that's
No
fair. I apologize if that sounded condescending. Before Sonic, that was Sega's mascot.
Okay.
Does he
So,
look
yeah.
a little bit like Scott Pilgrim?
Sure. Again,
He's just like a little kid, right?
sure. Yeah, he's a little kid. He looks like a red suit Mega Man, essentially.
Oh.
Without the helmet, if that makes any sense.
Huh.
So I'm kind of a little upset that they didn't go with the armadillo because imagine having this creature that can run fast. That's an armadillo. So they just have natural like plates of armor.
Yeah.
Right. And all that reminds me of is an alien called Cannonbolt from the show called Ben 10.
Oh.
From the show called
Good
Ben
show.
10.
Yes.
Great show, by the way.
So if you know, for either of you, if you don't know what that looks like, and so he curls up into a ball that's completely plated and armored, and then he just fucking rams at enemies. So I'm like, that sounds like a cooler idea than Sonic, in my opinion.
Damn.
I don't know,
But
like
we need
Sonic, 'cause
somebody that was-
There was a show in the '90s that I watched. That was the only connection I had with Sonic.
They
So
needed
he was
somebody.
a guy that talked like this and ran around and had a friend named Tails.
It was the early 90s. It was the beginning of the Attitude Era. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was trying to be cool when Stone Cold Steve Austin was rocking faces. They needed somebody that had attitude. And, a rabbit apparently just didn't cut it. So they picked a blue hedgehog instead. And so the design was they took Felix the cat's head. Okay. Mickey Mouse's
Okay.
body. Okay. And some
Okay.
reason Michael Jackson's boots. That it was the definition of edgy. Mickey Mouse's body was so edgy, guys. What
Um,
the fuck?
So how fast can Sonic run?
Why don't you tell me, Nick? You want to do kilometers? I'll do the translation.
I'll guess. 732 miles per hour.
Ooh, getting close. I'll guess 737 miles per hour.
So Sonic apparently can run as fast as 765 miles per hour because apparently Tyler doesn't understand flow. And I just asked him a question to keep it going, and then he's like, "Why don't you tell me?" Which is, you know what? Fuck that. He cannot run 765 miles an hour. Sonic runs at the speed of 1,231 kilometers an hour. I'm not going to translate for any of you. Hint: it's the same thing.
I was gonna say,
Which is pretty fast. that's kind of fast.
he can
It's actually, oh my god, I thought Arcanine was faster. That is actually over 3 times the speed of an Arcanine, which can go as fast as an average of 260 miles per hour.
which is
Holy shit!
yeah. I mean, this is average. I'm sure there, through the power of the Chaos Emeralds and all that and other bullshit, you can go faster. But I mean, they wanted to put it above the speed of sound, which I believe is somewhere around 700 miles per hour. So they wanted him to be able to
Okay.
do an actual sonic boom. So when he hits his max average
Oh.
speed, he.
That's dope, actually. I really like that.
Also, back in the day, he had a girlfriend, or yeah, he was romantically involved with a human girl named Madonna. Definitely not tied to the pop culture person Madonna of music fame. No,
Right.
Especially
Never.
now with those Michael Jackson boots, no sir, no hedgehog. And I mean, I'm trying to think of other shit. The last thing I can think of is motherfucker loves chili dogs.
Yeah.
I love how we're like a bunch of like teenagers react to Sonic the Hedgehog. We're like, I know he likes chili dogs.
It's wonderful.
I've never
And-
had a chili dog.
You've
It's
never
like
had.
Deadpool loves chimichangas, Sonic loves chili dogs. It's just
What?
They have their vices.
I'm trying to think of like other things. Like main characters just have like a weird fancy. I was gonna say girl, but I was like sex.
No, he doesn't love sex. He just does it to make himself feel alive. I was trying to think like what is another person like I feel like there's a bunch of characters that kind of had that like
It's just we
Doug,
don't think
for
about
Doug
it.
Funny, it was like Beats.
Iron Man and
Or-
alcohol.
Yeah. I actually met at a
Um,
con I met the author who wrote that storyline. His
What
name's Bob
was his
Layton.
sobriety storyline?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
He was the author that came up with that to kind of like humanize him a little bit. And then after he came out of the alcoholism, there was an comic that they were like, all right, this is his big return. We need him to beat the shit out of somebody real strong. So he beat up the Hulk. And I
Of
was at the
course he
con and found that issue and was talking with Bob and it was close to the end of the con. And I was like, if I went and got that book, I saw it over there. Would you sign it for me? He's like, heck yeah. So I have it signed by Bob Layton, the guy that wrote and
Nice.
drew a lot of the stuff. So yeah. Anyway, sorry,
Ooh.
I have a loving connection to him. But yes, I agree. Alcohol with him, very iconic.
Nick in the
Um,
chat setting the record straight. The character Tails, his full name is Tails Miles per hour.
Oh no.
Oh yes,
Oh no.
miles
Sega.
per hour. Not kilometers per hour. Miles per hour.
Yeah.
Thanks, I
suck
hate it.
Oh,
Okay,
Nick,
fine,
we
Nick.
don't
It's
legal. We
miles
kick because
tail
of
per hour.
love.
Whatever.
I hate it.
I hate it. Okay. And apparently, after they went third party, the original Sonic the Hedgehog game has been almost on every single platform since that happened. The whole Dreamcast.
So that would have been in the early 2000s, right? Like when the
Uh,
Dreamcast pieced out.
Yeah, after the Dreamcast, the original Sonic game has been on almost every single platform, whether or not it's in a collection or a DLC for a game. It's been on every fucking thing. And so far, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I believe they were pushing a $55 million weekend so far. So it's looking pretty good.
Do we know
very
what the
promising.
budget was looking like?
That's a very good question, actually. Sonic the Hedgehog movie budget. Survey
95
says 95 million. So if they made half of it back, all 55
not very
million.
Pretty good
big.
opening weekend.
Yeah, it's not a very big budget either for something that's so heavy CGI.
Yeah, 80 of
Yeah.
it probably went to fucking Jim Carrey because he needed to get spinal reconstruction surgery for carrying that fucking movie.
Yeah, I think even if they hadn't changed anything and it was still the horrific model they were using at the start, I think people who watched it solely for Jim Carrey and would have been okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But I will
but-
100% stick to my theory, the fact that this was all just a marketing stunt.
I think that's a
Because-
hard rag
Yeah,
on all the people
because-
that had to work endless late nights to try and make this thing work.
So that's why I'm saying it's conspiracy theory, 100%. I know nothing. This is full speculation because with how quick they put out like they put out the new model and they were able to like adjust the timeline for the movie so quickly and it was not very long. Because I'm not gonna say I'm an animator, but I've done enough to understand that even the little that we've done took us weeks and it wasn't very high texture or high quality. So the fact that they had reworked all the models, all the splines, all the fucking anime, like how it all worked in such a short amount of time, I don't believe it's either like gross amounts of overtime or it was all a marketing stunt.
What
Mhm.
happens if they had that model already, but they chose to go for the other one because they thought it would reach a better audience, and turns out they were wrong?
That's interesting.
Because
That's an
there's
interesting
probably
direction
different
too. Yeah.
iterations of it. Because they probably sent like 30 different versions to Sega saying, which one do we choose? And Sega was probably like, that one. And they're like, Jesus Christ.
You know what? That makes sense. Let's say they came up with like 5 models to start with, and then they went through rounds of testing, rounds of development, like prototyping, whatever, and then eventually came down to like stage 4 or 5, where they had to eliminate and constantly keep eliminating. And then the one that we have now just didn't make it to the end, and so they didn't have to go too far back and adjust too much. I could see that happening too.
But they have the model at the ready, so it's just a matter of taking out the old model, putting the new one in, readjusting the animations to each of those effects. I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of recalibrating that probably ate a lot of time, but it seems like
Yeah,
it'd be
no,
possible.
Well,
that seems likely too.
Honestly, they wouldn't have had to reshoot anything too, because the height of the model was the same, you know. So like, it's literally just something they had to fix on the technical side. So that lends to the idea that
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
very, very
So
feasible.
yeah, all you have to do is so what the process that we learned how to do was you have the model and then you create anchor points for like joints and fingers and eyeballs and tracking and like jaw movement. And then what you could do, there's several techniques. I don't know what industry standard is, but you set the first like in a sequence, you set the first frame and you set the last frame. And then you can set frames in between of how you want the position of the model to be so you can adjust how fast and how they look, and then you just let the computer generate it, and then it'll just automatically go through between, because you have the end and the last frame. So if you want Sonic to move from left to right, you just set those two, like the positions, and then you set certain movements in between, and the computer, like the program, will just generate that automatically. So it would just be a lot of like readjusting the spine model to make sure that all of these things were tied together and it wasn't breaking through the skin or like the actual model or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, with
Interesting.
that in mind, that makes that sound feasible. But also, Nick,
Yes.
this was partially done by Paramount Pictures. So I also like the idea that they did this as a fucking marketing stunt. Also, Sega would probably do something like that.
Like the one thing that just seems fishy is that when they announce the new date, they're like, "Yeah, okay, well, we heard you. We know you don't like this. It's coming out Valentine's Day." I'm like, that just seems. I don't know if that's just like,
It's like too perfect.
yeah, like I don't know if that was just like the only date that aligned and it was not too close to other like competing films, or if it was just kind of like, again, like there's a few things that seem fishy about it, but I just hope that nobody was forced to work overtime. Like I hope that and they were like, at least if they were compensated fairly. Like, and I
Mhm.
think people should also just in general have a little bit more tact when uh, relaying criticism online because some people are heartless.
Really? What's special with the Sonic fandom? No. I can't think of another like video game turned movie or something like that where somebody would get as much death threats as what these poor animators probably did for what they did to their Sonic. Like the Sonic fandom has been notably toxic.
I can't think of a movie, but I can think of a show, and that's Game of Thrones.
Oh my god.
True.
Yeah.
But
So
Game of Thrones fandom was actually just a giant ass balloon and they happily popped it. I don't even think there's a fandom anymore. It just dispersed. Like
the people that were fans before the show, just for the books, are still around, but all the people that came around just because of the show, no longer there.
I mean, hell, you could say it was like a helium-filled balloon. You just took a lighter to it and it exploded into like a ball of fury, but now it's just gone. There's nothing there.
They're waiting
You
for the
don't.
prequel.
Is there a prequel now?
Yeah, it's going to be about the history of the Targaryens leading up to the events of the
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. you.
I was gonna say that it's gonna be kind of scary to do because like you can't kill anybody that we already know because they need to be killed later. So I
Maybe
guess
a lot of new characters. So
they'll find out like, hey, this is a new character. I wonder how long he's. Oh, he's gone.
yeah, I could imagine it like literally just ending with Jaime Lannister, becoming the Kingslayer.
Fair. That's fair.
Could be really interesting. I think. But
Okay, I think that's it.
yeah, that was a show, fam. We just got to do game releases and to stay in gaming now.
Okay,
Um,
they're that
so
dark.
as far as game releases go, some of these are super. I think at least one of these is very important to both of you.
I don't see a Sonic
yeah.
game in there, Glenn. So I maybe not.
No, I don't care for any of these. If I'm being completely honest.
Oh no, I was
Um,
being facetious because I know you don't like that series.
Thank you.
I was being sarcastic for the purpose of comedy, but it didn't come across well enough.
It's okay.
I'm
We're all
genuine.
moodless with each other. I was trying to do a segue flow.
The first game I see on this list is a game called Corruption 2029. It looks like it's a PC exclusive coming out on February 17th.
Yes. Very important also is the fact that it's exclusive to Epic, the
Yep.
game store
Epic
right
Games?
now.
Okay.
And from what I can see, that it is set in a dystopian America in the not so distant future. Corruption is a new tactical strategy game from the Bearded Ladies, creators of Mutant Year Zero: Road to Eden.
Oh.
Yeah.
Somebody described it as XCOM meets Metal Gear Solid.
Oh,
Which is
that's kind of
in it.
awesome.
Interesting style to it.
Yeah.
Corruption
dig
has
that aesthetic.
changed. Sorry, I was making a
Wait.
Metal Gear Solid reference.
Oh, okay. I was like,
No, it's okay. Solid Snake, Sonic, all the things I love, but is unappreciated, right? Actually, I like Metal Gear Solid, so I probably shouldn't say that. I actually like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. Well, that's good because I think Metal Gear Solid is another fantastic franchise that I have zero experience with.
Oh man, we need to work on your top 5. Let's get you to play a Sonic game. We can get that in the top 5 somewhere.
Worms
sure.
Armageddon is my favorite game of all time, so
Oh, that's a low bar. Okay, cool.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. It
So-
was a favorite game of mine when I was a kid. but
What
that
is
as far as
your
that goes.
favorite game of all time, Glenn? Maybe you don't know because you haven't played it yet. I bet Sonic the Hedgehog 3
I
is just calling
really,
for you.
no, I really dig. It's kind of hard because I'm kind of like a vacuum for games in that it's the same way I am with food. It's like, oh, is it edible? Does it not taste bad? Great. I like it. I'm not very picky. But my favorite games that I've really gotten into are ones that have RPG elements, combat elements, and sometimes romance or friendship involved. And so that's why Outer Worlds is up there for me, along with Dragon Age Origins. Um, the Mass Effect series, probably Mass Effect 2 more than any of the other ones.
Okay.
And Dragon Age. Wait, I already said Dragon Age Origins. What was the other one? Shit. My brain.
Dragon Age
Games like
2.
that. Games like that. I enjoyed Fallout 4 from what I played of it.
Skyrim?
Skyrim's a good one. It's a good one, but like it's not top 5 for sure.
Not top 5.
I know for sure Dragon Age Origins, Mass Effect 2.
Prey.
Prey's okay. I got to a point
you said
where
that
I
with
spent-
the cringe smile. Prey's okay.
I played Prey on stream because Apple Hoof bought it for me, and I got to a point where I was stuck at the bottom of this busted room or something. I spent 4 hours trying to get out. I can't get out, so I was like, "Fuck this game." Then it's on the easiest setting, and it's so difficult that I literally can't do anything
Right.
because I'm all about the story. So games
Glenn,
that
if
are
you
very
want me to, I can
choice-centric.
mail you literal cow shit and you can eat that on stream too. It's like, just because people give you bad games doesn't mean you have to play it on stream, okay? I'm
Oh, is
sorry,
Prey not a
Apple
good
Hoof.
game?
It's
Oh no! Oh, and I'm so sorry. I
It's
didn't mean to strike a chord.
it's a game that had such a quick. You know how some games they come out and then like a month later that you see them like, wow, that one's already $30. That game had such a drop in retail value that I couldn't even get my money back. Like I paid $60 for it, and I think GameStop wanted $6 for it with how much
Oh
no
my
one
god!
Yeah, no one wanted the shit out of that game, and so when you picked it, I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
no, I liked the premise of Prey for what it's worth. But anyway, my favorite games always have some sort of element of story that involves you interacting with the world and having choices that matter. That's why I think BioWare
I hope
tends to
that's like
reach
every
me a
game
lot.
actually.
Well, yeah, but like not all games have that as the sole purpose, you know. When I play Stardew Valley, I don't give a shit about, you know, the real story because the story is what I make it, you know. Or if you're playing even Dreams or something like, or Little Big Planet, it's a little more ambiguous, you
Okay, yeah,
know. Like
yeah.
it can be what you want it to be, but games that are solely about that really speak to me because I love seeing partially because I think in real life that's something that's hard to get perspective on is understanding that actions have consequences and you may not always see them immediately, you know. So seeing that in video games kind of helps reinforce that to be true for me,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Okay.
Even when I don't see it, because I'm very like what's happening now, kind of like a dog human. But
A dog
uh
human what?
moving on to another game release. Well,
Okay.
like, you know, dogs are like like separation anxiety and like object temporary or object permanence and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to be that way. If it's not in front of me and I'm not seeing it, I'm not experiencing it, I have a hard time always keeping it in perspective. Bayonetta and Vanquish 10th anniversary bundle is coming out on February 18th for PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay. Yep.
Um,
40
that'll be
Yes,
bucks.
on
this is a
Tuesday next week. Yeah, right.
yeah. This is a remastered collection because it's the 10th year anniversary for both of them, and they're from Platinum Games.
Oh, this is the one that you want so bad.
100%. Both coming with 4K graphics and at 60 FPS.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh, that's pretty great. Hopefully they don't pull a Warcraft and, you know, fuck with core game mechanics and just give them a, you know, a graphics boost so that the true fans of it will stick around.
Well,
I
I
mean, it
played
probably could use a
the
couple updates.
I played the remastered version on PC.
Uh,
And for what I know, it was just purely like a graphical update, and it was at 60 FPS. So it's just probably going to be a port of that with higher texture graphics because the One X and the PS4 Pro could handle that.
mm. Okay.
But the Switch
Okay.
could,
Yeah.
Probably could.
maybe.
Maybe. And then we have DCL, the game,
The movie,
Yes.
the game.
February 18th. On everything except Switch, it looks like it's coming out on.
What
So
the
PS4,
fuck?
Xbox One, and PC. What's
Yes.
DCL?
This is it is the official video game of the Drone Champions League. So it's based on the
Oh.
world's leading series for drone racing teams. Like, so it's essentially your equivalent to F1 or NASCAR games.
Wow.
Except
That
you're
actually
actually
sounds really
controlling
interesting.
drones. Well, shit.
I saw a video of a guy flying a drone through some ruins on loop, and it was like the trippiest thing I've ever seen. And it made me go, drones are kind of cool. Like,
Just a little bit.
'cause yeah, just a little bit of me was like, that would be kind of cool to have a drone. And ironically enough, our roommate is a filmmaker, and so he has a an app controlled, well, it's technically iPad controlled, like $2,000 drone that can
Yep.
like he's legally allowed to fly. He has a license for it, and it's amazing.
Okay.
So if I wanted to learn, I could. But anyway, drones are cool. That's really awesome. And last but not least on our list, Under Night in Birth EXE Late CLR. Oh my God, is the name of this title? Is this a joke?
No.
No,
this is gotta be a
is your
JRPG, right?
100%. I was about to say it's your standard JRPG title.
It's not a JRPG. It's a visual novel and 2D fighting game, okay? Thank you. So, the people that... Go ahead, you can take it if you want.
No, carry on. You already have it.
Okay. Arc Systems is one of the companies that worked on this alongside French Bread. French Bread was known for a Type Moon-based game called Melty Blood. I'm not going to go in detail because no one here, I am pretty sure, has any idea what that is. So I'm going to go over with Arc System, which is Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue. Does that sound any familiar to you?
Yes.
Like, this would be Cam's territory, almost, for the
Yes.
style game. So if that sparks it up at least a little bit. But yeah, it's a 2D fighting game that has a lot of story, aka it's a visual novel. And it came out in 2012. Starting out as an arcade game, then it went on to PlayStation 3. Then looks like it went to the Windows, PC, PS4, Vita, and now it's finally going on actual PC and Switch. So this is a port of a game that's 8 years old. So it's seen a couple of years.
Hmm.
Sorry, it's coming on PS4 and Nintendo Switch this week. But the game came out on previous editions, so it's it's an old classic that they just wanted to get some more buckaroos on.
Do any of you have interest in playing it?
I don't trust a game that has over 4 random words in length anymore after the whole Kingdom Hearts
Yeah.
Debacle.
Under Night in Birth EXE late CL-R in brackets.
Or what was it? Metal Wolf Chaos XD?
Oh my gosh. So can I give you an update to the Kingdom Hearts situation?
Absolutely.
I'll keep it under a minute. So there was that part where I got stuck because I couldn't transfer a save over to beat these mega bosses. I listened to, and bless them, got it memorized, a Kingdom Hearts recap podcast who did it, or at least watched somebody else who did it. And once you beat all the bosses, there's a cutscene that says, wow, there's actually no information to be gained here. Fuck you, Square Enix. That's all I have to say.
Oh my god, for real? They actually say that in game?
Well, I guess there's nothing that we could actually find. It's no use, which is another popular Sonic phrase. It's no use. It's not Sonic, but Silver. And not that I should know that because I'm not.
Is
a Sonic
Silver
fan.
another one of the hedgehogs?
Yes, he's technically, I think, like a soft antagonist of the Sonic 06 game, but I think he gets brought back over. But I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, because Tyler's not a fan. He doesn't
I'm
know
not a
anything.
fan.
Not at all. He doesn't like the game series at all. He doesn't know it any more than
Do you see a
3
single thing
characters'
of
names.
Sonic paraphernalia ever in my possession in the house? This is even silver. This ring. It's not gold.
Tyler, do you have any League of Legends paraphernalia?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
pop, right?
You can actually see it's off in the corner there, second row on the right hand side. You see Vi and Lux. Lux is in the dead center, then Pikachu, and then some guy, and then Vi. So yeah, I do.
Nice.
I was
Nice
just gonna
try
think of
though,
the other-
asshole.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Just because you love a game
Awesome.
doesn't mean you have to have paraphernalia for it, right? No, that's fair.
True.
That's
It's
true.
true.
That's true.
But
my
if you
booby
really
trap
like
has been
cosplay-
activated.
But that game, speaking of long named games, comes out on February 20th for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
And this day in gaming, does anybody want to take this over? This is
I'll do it.
interesting stuff.
So this day in gaming, February 17th, we've got one game and one interesting tidbit on the list because I couldn't find anything. Street Fighter 4 came out for the PS3, Xbox 360 in 2009. So happy birthday. It's 11 years old now. Another fun fact, I just keep throwing these out here. I've never played Street Fighter. So,
I've
Oh,
only played
cool.
one, so
yeah.
played 2.
I was growing up. My friends had more Tekken than Street Fighter, so I played more of that. Same thing, even Mortal Kombat, but also because growing up in the Middle East early on, there was a lot of like things that were censored, and the games were just not sold. Like you'd have to get a pirated copy of Grand Theft Auto, like San Andreas, to even be able to like play that game. They
Oh,
just
yeah.
weren't sold in
Oh,
stores.
I can see
yeah.
that. I mean, Australia was just as bad about that kind of shit too. If there was too much, that
Yeah.
it was gone. So Uh,
Hmm.
I don't think I've ever played a Street Fighter game. For me, back in the day, it was Super
Yeah.
Smash Brothers, and then later on, it was Marvel vs. Capcom. But
Right, right.
yeah. Yep.
Well, so happy 11th birthday to Street Fighter 4. And this was interesting. So in 2005, 15 years ago, Xbox announced to voluntarily replace the power cords on 14.1 million Xbox consoles worldwide to protect consumers and their consoles from a rare electrical component failure that can pose a fire hazard. I don't think I've ever heard of a recall on this level for consoles.
Yeah.
It wasn't a recall. It was just a replacement for the cord.
Well, similar, a similar situation. Like I just don't think I've ever heard of anything like, um,
Having to see
Yeah.
something get warranted so fast that they offered to mass produce something like that.
could you imagine? Well, did Xbox? Well, yeah, no, they did, but they had the backing of Microsoft, so they could do that no problem. But
Yeah.
could you imagine the boardroom meetings or the fucking like stress that whoever was the head then, was Phil Spencer still the head then?
Probably.
Yeah, like
Pretty
the
sure
stress
they-
he was like.
When they built the Xbox Center, like they found Phil Spencer on the ground, they just raised him up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really all we have for this day in gaming. Yeah.
Consequently, that's it for the show, right?
Yeah, it is,
We got
baby.
a nice one, nice and concise. Give you some more time to prep if you need to for your session tonight, and rest your voice just to make sure
Yeah,
you're all
just need to
set. You know.
Figure out ways to fucking kill my players now.
Oh
I think I'm gonna throw
Nick.
4 orcs at them.
Nick, don't
level
kill
are
your
they?
players.
Level 1,
my God! What the fuck? Why did you do that?
because there are 5 of them. They're pieces of shit, and they have level
I thought
12
one of them.
DMPC with them. So
Oh,
Yeah.
I
What
mean
the
that
f-
helps.
Power fantasy much? Jesus.
listen, it's my world. I'm the DM. I
No,
can
it's
do what I want.
okay. It's just it was
It's
weird.
also. I was gonna say it's also probably nice to be able to let you on your first campaign have a PC there to help guide them, and then
Yeah.
as you DM more, you'll find more organic ways to like lead them on their quest.
Nick has
Yeah, for
never
sure.
ran a level 12 character until he made one for his DMPC. It's like that's a power fantasy.
Yeah, and I gave him a
Little bit.
Sunblade just off the bat. And I'm like, let's just give him all this. I think I even gave
Did
him
you
a
just
ring
give
of
him old
invisibility.
Brom?
Oh my God!
No.
I got the
no.
Sword of Wishes too in my backpack, you know.
That's called a luck blade, all right?
I'm sorry, the Luck Blade. You're right. I'm sorry. I failed you. Fuck
no,
ever.
you didn't.
You can find me on Twitter at 2x Tyler. All letters, one word.
You can find me on Twitch and on Instagram at LR11. On Twitter, I can be found at LR the 11th, all letters. Glenn, where could people find you?
If they want to swing over to Twitch and hang out, we just hit 200 followers, and
Oh,
I have my third Twitch sub baby,
Nice.
where somebody has supported me for 9 months, and he's one of these guys right here. So thank you. But yeah, so Twitch at Razeth
I'm a father.
REEZETH. Yeah, you are Twitch baby father, and you're my Twitch baby daddy. And then on Twitter at Glenn Houston, Glenn with 2 N's. Houston looks like Huston. You can find us on Twitter. Our CMQ Twitter is at CMQ Network. Also on Facebook, and we have a Discord that you guys can come hang out in. It's a lot of fun. People come in there, show up. Maybe you'll get to play some drunk League of Legends with Tyler or Brandon, which is always fun. As well, we also have a D&D podcast that is Dungeon Mastered by myself, and Nick and Tyler are 2 of the players, along with Brandon, who we've mentioned several times during the podcast. Do we have any other final words from anybody?
Yeah, it's called Casual Questmasters.
There it is.
Same feed. And
For the
also,
Roll
like,
2.0.
yeah, if you want to find any of our links on our Twitter at CMQ Network, we have a little link that takes you to like where you can find us on the internet. Yeah, otherwise, stay
Multi-link.
safe.
Wonderful. So thanks for joining us for episode 87 of Casual Best Request. And don't forget to never stop the grind.
We'll see you guys next week.
I'll miss you.
Of course, you can't not say